Welcome, constant readers, to a review of Black House by Stephen King and Peter Straub. This book is book 2 in a trilogy, and it's all about the Dark Tower. It gives background and depth to the Dark Tower series, even though it's not in the series itself. This book takes place in Peter Straub's homeland of Wisconsin. Interestingly enough, many of Stephen King's books take place in his home state of Maine. So we're in Wisconsin, in the fictional town of French Landing, and the Crimson King is at it again. In order to give you information on Black House, I have to give you just a little bit of spoiler-free background to the Dark Tower series. In the Dark Tower series, we have Roland, the gunslinger, who is questing for the Dark Tower, and on the other end, we have the antagonist, the evil demon, the Crimson King, who is also questing for the tower. And this is no spoiler, friends. In the Dark Tower series, the Crimson King is trying to destroy the beams that hold the tower up. In Black House, the Crimson King is looking for beam breakers to employ to destroy the Dark Tower, and he's looking for psychic children to take into the world of the Dark Tower series with him to employ them to destroy that tower. So you can see that Black House is all about the Dark Tower series, and it's about a gunslinger named Jack Sawyer who tries to stop the Crimson King in this novel. In the novel, the primary antagonist is not only the Crimson King, but an employee of the Crimson King who is modeled on the real-life serial killer, the child-killing cannibal, Albert Fish. So we have a dark antagonist in this novel, and in French Landing, the police there cannot figure out who is killing children. The Albert Fish copycat is taking children, he's killing children, and he's trying to get children that have psychic abilities to deliver to the Crimson King. With the French Landing police being basically helpless trying to solve this case, they bring in Jack Sawyer. And Jack Sawyer was from book 1 in this trilogy. By the way, the third book in this trilogy has not come out yet. We've been waiting for about 20 years now. And Jack Sawyer was a child in the Talisman book 1. Well, he's all grown up now, and he's in his 30s, and he's retired from the Los Angeles Police Department. He's a kind of celebrity cop, and the French Landing police need his help to stop the child-killing cannibal in their city, wreaking havoc, and that's what this story is all about. It's basically one part a detective mystery kind of novel with Jack Sawyer and the French Landing police trying to stop the copycat serial killer, the fisherman, as they call him in this book, a play on the name of Albert Fish. And it's also one part fantasy novel concerning the Dark Tower and the Crimson King. Drop me a line in the comments if you have a book recommendation for me, be it horror or fantasy or some other novel, and I will definitely check those out. I had mixed feelings about this book. I really loved the Dark Tower connections within. It was fantastic for me as far as that went, but I felt it was a lengthy book and that the authors, for me, dropped the ball when it came to keeping the story going. There's a lot of looking back into the past in this, and a lot of things going on between the action scenes in this novel. And I personally forced myself to finish this book primarily because I wanted more Dark Tower. That was a really enjoyable thing as far as this read went for me, but I just felt that this book was a really slow read. Outside of that, I give this book a 3-star review because I'm split on how I feel about it. I'm really looking forward to the 3rd installment in this series. I think there's going to be some Dark Tower connections. And I will say that this book is huge as far as the Dark Tower series is concerned, but book 1 was not. So I don't know how book 3 will be. I'm putting a link up top if you are concerned with the Dark Tower series and how other books play into it. Check the card out and you can look at that video. I give it a 3-star review because loved the fantasy Dark Tower in it, didn't care for the police detective part of it. I thought that it was a good idea that didn't work very well, so I recommend this book strongly. If you are a Tower junkie, if you've read the Dark Tower series, I want you to read this book. Outside of those people that have read the series, I'm going to say that I'm not recommending this book. Just as a general read, I don't recommend it for anything other than an extension to the Dark Tower series. The primary theme in this novel is good versus evil, and there's a lot of dark happenings in this one with the Albert Fish-like serial killer, and I'm really looking forward to reading some other Peter Straub novels. I've read 2 of his books so far, both co-authored with Stephen King, The Talisman and Black House, and of course I plan on reading the 3rd installment in this trilogy, but I'm looking forward to trying one of his novels that aren't co-authored. So I'm going to read Ghost Story and review it here on my channel because, like everyone that has mentioned that book to me, really enjoyed it. A chapter in this book is devoted to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, and I thought that that was really interesting, and it was also nominated for a Bram Stoker Award. The opinions on this book are heavily split. I see a lot of Stephen King readers that absolutely loved this book, and I also see quite a few people that felt it was long, that it wasn't very suspenseful, that it wasn't very good. So you'll have to read it yourself to get to the bottom of Black House. I'm on my quest to read every Stephen King book, so please subscribe to my channel to take part in my Stephen King journey. I'm going to read them all. I'm going to review them all. I'm going to talk in depth about the Dark Tower series and the Stephen King multiverse. You can join me on social media. I'll drop the links for those in the description. Thank you all for tuning in, my friends, and I will see you next time.